Welcome, everyone, to this beautiful day in summer. Today we have Scryfall. And Scryfall has been a great tool for me in finding cards that would be really good in my deck. And it's my opinion that a lot of people don't know how to use it, or at least to its maximum potential. I don't think I do either, and that's why this video is titled For Beginners. So Scryfall.com is a great place to find cards. You write the word, you get the card. And you get the, in my opinion, what is the highest quality print of a card as well. If you right click here and copy image or open in new tab, you can see that it's quite some high quality. By the way, it's good to see that these this symbol here has gotten a high quality print instead of a electronic version, whichever it was. That looks a lot more fine. So we will use Scryfall sometimes to find a card, but today we're going to go beyond that and try to use this tool as a resource to help us find cards that we care about. There's no way to introduce this. Let's just go straight into it. So I have 3 examples today. I think my allergies are kicking in a little bit, so I'm kind of slow, but it's still valuable. So the first example might be if you're looking for a card and you don't know the name, but you're like, what's the name of this card that you can like draw a card from your deck and it costs like 0 mana and it's an artifact, you know? You'll find a lot of examples today that have to do with Storm because I play a Storm deck and they come naturally. So first we go to Advance and we said, okay, it's an artifact. We go to the type line, select artifact. We know it's colorless, that I remember. We know it costs 0, so we go to mana value, add 0. If you're not sure if it costs 1 or 0, you can select 1 and then less than or equal to 1, meaning 1 or 0. And then, what else do we know? Oh yeah, what does it do? Draw card. Okay. If it draws multiple cards, you want to put an S to that. But since we kind of want all the possibility, we won't. And maybe we remember something else, but let's start with this first. What does that lead us to? So 61 cards. And we can see many of them, right? And you can get to it and be like, oh, I see it. It's this one. Mishra's Bubble. Nice. So now you have the name. And then you can add it to your deck. And then you can be like, wait, wasn't there another one that does the same thing? And you go further down and find Urza's Bauble. And then, yeah, okay, that's the one I was looking for. You also get to notice at the same time that you're finding new cards as well. So, Wizard's Rocket, for example, coming out soon, unreleased. Maybe you have less lands in your decks and you're running Terrarions and stuff like that. The last one is the Fear Boots. So that's one way that I really like or use it most often. I think it's really to find a card's name. It counters a spell. It's blue, not colorless, and you can discard a card or something. What is it called again? 20 cards. Can't really go wrong. I'm not finding it. Can't really remember the name. So is it really discard? Or is it exile a card from your hand? 33 results this time. Not the same cards. Well, it may say exile or discard on one card, for example, but now we get a lot of other cards. So you have to be quick with what possibly could be the right words. And some of them are hard to find because you got the words totally wrong. And if I can remember the one I was thinking about last time, we'll try it. But we have to look at the oracle text as well. So the oracle text is what Wizard would print it with if it would print it now. Right? So Force of Will I don't think changed much in the years. But if you look for this oracle text part here, affect, prevent, redirect, I don't think we're gonna find it. Prevent, redirect. No, so you don't find it. So, for example, if you're looking for a card that adds mana, if you say add mana pool, as cards that add mana. Grab this here. And then search. We don't find anything. In the blue color that adds mana, maybe we're just wrong here. Search. See 2 cards. And I'm not even sure why this is saying. Oh, because it says pool and mana. And it does say add X mana in a combination of. And it's the only possible card, right? And for this one. But if we remove mana pool and just say add, then we get 2,000 cards that add. Because this add this or this to your mana pool is not the same anymore. It's simply add. So just a few tricks, right, that will get you to what you're looking for. So let's go over some things. So let's say add and then draw and discard. Not many cards will do that. 42 will say add something, draw a card, and discard a card. And we're looking at some pretty powerful cards for some of them. Some of them you'll recognize. Right? So Trail of Possibility, discard a card, add, draw 2 card. Additional is the add. That's not maybe what we're looking for. Seize the spoil, discard a card, draw 2 card, create a treasure. That seems pretty alright. Magmatic Insight. Cephalid Colosseum simply says add, right? And then draw this card. Big score. That's interesting, isn't it? Discard a card, draw 2, create 2 treasure. So the same as the other one that we seen earlier. If you're into spells that would do this, or you discard, draw 2, create a treasure, then if your deck really likes this, then your deck will probably really like Big Score also. But let's say, for example, we don't want to discard, or we have a bunch of cards and we don't want to have one that says treasure, for example. Okay, for any reason. So there's a trick you can do. If you add the word treasure it will find those with just treasures. Okay, which is probably more valuable than what we're about to do. But if you put a minus in front of a command, then you will get everything except this word. So if you're trying to filter out a card pool where you get like 200 cards, but they all say sacrifice, or and then you don't want to sacrifice, or discard a card and you don't want to discard, then you would put the minus. And if you put the minus before the bracket, I believe all of them go out, but I've seen the function not work, so I'd rather go into the bracket and put the minus where we want them. So this one's here says draw, add, but not discard neither treasure. So we won't find any card that says discard on them or treasure. But we find all the draw and add, which increase our pool because there's a lot of cards that say that. So now maybe we want to refine that to green spells, right? So you go to green. But maybe it's not green. Maybe it's colorless and it has a green ability. Instead, you could choose commander color green, meaning that it would fit into a green commander. So this small distinction here I like. Before I used to select like, okay, I want something green or black, and I would choose green, black, and say at most. It could be green or black or green, black or colorless. And now we only get, there's none. There's none possibly with this. Can we do minus here? That should work. Sick. So just the black, green, colorless, and black, green. Or we can just do this. Go back here. We have 149 cards. Removing. Selecting commander, we get 99. So what happened? I'm not sure. For you to find out. So the next example is to find, let's say, so sometimes I have an idea when I'm like, okay, I feel like my deck is missing add mana. Okay. So I'm just looking for spells that would add mana. For example, where is it? Well, I can't think about the name. So what do? Add. Wait, I know it's a red spell because red spells add mana. So I'm going to choose Commander Red. Add mana. And I know it's a small spell that costs 2 or less. We're going to search that. 400 cards. That's not great. At 60 cards a pop. It's going to take like 10 pages. But I can see there's lands here. I don't really want lands. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for spells that add mana. So how would I remove them? Well, you can do minus land. That's a start. 300 something. The lands are still here. Oracle land? Oh no, that's not what I want. I mean type land. Then search. Then it gives me just a land. But if we go back up here, type land minus, then we remove the lands. Now we're back down to 180. That makes sense, but it's not an artifact, and I know that. I know it's a red card. So unless you're really looking for like everything available for your red deck, okay, then yes, you want to see Arcane Signet, maybe Astral Cornucopia if you produce a lot of red. I don't know if you want to spend that. There's Black Lotus here. I can't play that. So let's go back and make some changes. We want cards to be commander legal, and we want just red spells. So let's do that. Come back here. We're going to select red. and then we're gonna select. We can go by a set. We'll come back to that. Criteria. Is it criteria? Commander. These cards can be in your commander. Nope, not really. Format. Legal in commander. Search. Okay. So now we still get our lands. Put a minus here. 205. Did we do something wrong? Color red. Oh, at most. No, exactly. Search. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Oh, yeah, it says land. So minus land. Okay, 62 cards. Now we're in business. So now we have 62 cards that are red, not lands, which I would probably not need. 64. These are the two cards that we just passed by, right? That are land and spells, which is good. Because we don't want to add unnecessary criterias. They cost 2 or less. They're commander legal, red, and add mana, or add. So then we just go by. So this one is for a black deck also. This one adds red to your mana pool. Okay. Braid of Fire, big card. In your upkeep, you add red. Every time in your upkeep, you keep adding more red. Very special card. Cathartic Reunion, additional is the additional. Okay. So instead of additional, we could remove additional from the add. How would we do that? Well, Oracle says add. Can we additional? Is that how we spell it? Addition? Addition. Addition. Yep. Minus. 26 cards without the word addition. You'll find this interesting piece of card here, Brightstone Ritual. Add red for each goblin on the battlefield. My goodness. That seems good. You know, we have a Dockside Extortionist these days. Bunch of goblins. People like some goblins. Goblins are fast. They're fast with... what's her name? Winota? I would play goblins in Winota. Big time. 1 red haste goblins. Right, so now we find Desperate Ritual. We find Pyritic Ritual. We find Rite of Flame. We find this goblin, by the way, that some people are playing, which, again, with the other card makes sense. Vessel of Volatility. If you like to pay 2 and 2 later, you'll get 4 back. That's interesting. That is interesting. This thing here is a land, spell. Okay. It's displayed. Doesn't look like it. Okay. And that's how we find cards with the tool. So let's go back on it. So if there's a part of the name you remember, you put it here. Like words of something. And text here is really the Oracle text. So what will be inside the card text box. So like this here, right? In here. And what it should be now. The type line is the type of the card, which is here. So if you want to add some, just add some, and then if you want to remove, you put a minus when you search. Let's continue. I have some ideas, but god damn, I want to keep going. So colors is pretty clear. You can say including them, so including red, or at most red, or another, or exactly red. A commander, I like this category a lot. If you play commander and you want to know what fits in your colors, mana cost, So mana cost is the precise mana cost. I rarely use this. It's mostly here I come to as a mana value. Mana value is the total, so 2, 3, 5 or less. Our toughness, if you remember this. Loyalty. Game, I don't touch this, but you can see the value. Format, legal, banned, restricted, sometimes not legal, so I don't like this category. If you haven't seen the game for some time and you want to look at the new cards, you can simply come over here and add those. But now that I think about it, you might be able to add the dates from like 2022 to now. There might be a place to add that. Let's say you missed from Kamigawa and you want to know what artifacts that costs 0. That's my most done search. Artifacts costing 0 or 1 less, and I like to see what they printed recently. And because I have a blue-red deck, I'll do blue-red. So these are the 30 new cards that cost 1 or less that might go into my deck. I have a Joyra deck, right? And it just says 1. It doesn't say 0. So did I? What about 0? Nothing. None. Not a thing. Which is an artifact. Maybe it's for in my case it's a historic, right? Historic. So where would I add historic? I think it's here. It's the criteria. Criteria is quite large. You'll find a lot of things here. Extended art, etched. You want to see all the etched cards from those sets. Yeah, let's do that. Whatever. Funny. So if you're looking for something, historic is here. Non-foil old planner cards, reprints, story cards. Like you can really go wide here. Watermarked cards. Any historic coming out costing 1 or less, of course. There's a bunch of them. All right, so hopefully we don't have a connection issue. You can find by artist. So Magali, for example. It's an interesting search. What in the world? Oh, it's costing 0. That's why. Let's go with 1. There you go. 1 or less, including the lands. Yes, they're here. And then you just read some cards, specifically what you're looking for. Are you looking for a spell that protects your permanents? You would put it here or here. Yep. Price. I don't use it that much because I don't mind looking at the costs. Flavor text. If you're really looking for one. Lore finder. Oh wow. I don't know. It's like flavor text, but lore. What? An example, Joyra? What? Gotta try that. Language, preference. Right. So let's reset. And I want to do this. I wonder what this provides. What the fuck am I looking at? What is this? What does this have to do with anything? I want to bend in the weather light. My destiny is to serve at Joyra's side. This illness means I must trust my fate more and myself less. Arvad the Curse. He knows Joyra. And Karn had something to say. If it is meant to be nothing but a machine, Karn finally asked Joyra, why did Urza build it to be like me? Wow, that's profound. And of course, Collector Oof, my bane. He steals the power from treasure after treasure. And what does it do for the Oof? Nothing. Sure. Very cool. Very cool, very cool. So, but yeah, that's how I use it. You know, search for cards you're missing, etc. Let's say you're looking for a new battle that came out, and you're like, yeah, this battle is green. We know that. We know it's played in Commander because it's the shit. So, well, whatever. Every battle's gonna be played in Commander. They just came out. So green battle. We don't know the cost. It could be reduced by something. Let's just search and see what's up. But no, it doesn't have Joyride in it. Which one could it be? We could filter by price and kind of find out. Chandalar. Oh, that's probably it. $7. What does that even do? 5. When Invasion of Chandalar enters the battlefield, return up to 3 target permanent cards from your yard to your hand. That's gotta be standard. Let's go to MTG stocks for a second. I think what is it called? Fish something can give you, like, if it's played in Commander. This is played in Pioneer. Okay. I can't remember fish. I'm not gonna fall in the wrong place. 7 cents. $2. Hey, it costs 2, man. When Invasion of Ixalan enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 of your library. You reveal a permanent card from among them, put into your hand, put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. So you just look at 5, put permanent into your hand, the rest bottom. Becomes a Trampler 4/3. When you cast, it gains indestructible. Good. Hey, indestructible trample. That's cool, man. And then we get, of course, on the card, Invasion of Ikoria. And with this commanding price tag, it's either a finisher or a tutor for a green, and it is a tutor. When Invasion of Ikoria enters the battlefield, search your library and or graveyard for a non-human creature card with mana value X or less, put onto the battlefield. Jeez. If you search library this way, shuffle. Just like Green Sun Zenith. And then if it dies, you have an 8/8 reach. For each non-human creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as to a Warren block. So it's a finisher. Holy shit. So it's a tutor and finisher. No wonder. Pick it up. It's $24, yeah. Yeah, it's always gonna be that. Whoa. Sick. And you might not see all the tabs here, but that's how I end up with so many tabs on top here. Wishclaw Talisman, this thing. So here, for example, was a search for this card, draw cards, in the blue-red, mana value 3 or less. So literally everything costing 3 or less, I would draw cards. And you just take some time and read, you know, you just read. What is this here? You can't read that too well, but if we go to this here, we can tell that it's not a conspiracy, it's not a land, it's not an attraction, it's not a contraption, it's not a dungeon, it's not a sticker. It's CMC 0. It doesn't have those things. Because you get a lot of stuff with CMC 0. No land. I don't want conspiracies. I don't want attractions. I don't want contraptions. I don't want dungeons. Want to see what's in what costs 0? You can get a clear picture. For example, this one, it had the word fire. I go back. I remember it could have been a fire camp. So fire. And it fits in my deck and it costs 1 or less. And it's campfire. Some people play that. If you're wondering what the hammer's called that's played in modern, then you just come here, advance. It could be called a hammer, and we know it costs 1. And we know it's legal in modern, I think. And it's in equipment. So we go equipment. Equipment. Ah, it was called hammer after all. Right, so some decks, so it's modern. It's a modern card, but I don't know if it's a modern deck though. But it costs 1, and they'll find a creature that says equip stuff for 0. So it's become 1/0 equip plus 10. Strong deck, cool deck. So yeah, I think that's a good start. You know, if you've never used it or you're looking for different tools, it's a good tool to get good with. Because I happen to find all the cards I need to find with it. So I'm pretty pleased with by it, yeah. Giving you some ideas. And it's giving you all the varieties, variants, you know.